Well, Neuralink in Greek, if you don't have to do much math, but it equals 666. It just in Greek, because every Greek letter has a value and every Hebrew letter has a value. You just add up the Greek letters and it's 666. And Neuralink is not even a translation. To say Neuralink in Greek, you say Neuralink.
Jeez.
It's the word. It's the word that you would use in Greek.
Plus 20 equals 666.
It's got to be intentional. It's got to be intentional that it's Neuralink.
And
Amazing.
that's actually something to talk about, because you're right, 100%. Is this how we're going to have a deception? We're going to have a deception in the end times. Are they doing this on purpose? Is this being done on purpose to make it look like Donald Trump is the Antichrist, or MBS is the Antichrist, or whatever is happening? Elon Musk is the false prophet. Is this being done on purpose for some reason to hide something else that's happening? Because that's possible. Like, it's almost too noticeable, all of these things. Especially with Elon Musk, I personally think that it's just so noticeable that he is just getting everything ready for the false prophet to walk in and take over. If it's not him, who dressed like the devil,
I know.
devil's assistant, during Halloween, 2 years ago.
Why would Jared Kushner buy 666 address? Or, you know what I mean? There's all these weird things.
And it all could be a coincidence, but what do the people in chat think? Do they think it's a coincidence, Aaron?
Well, what do you think, guys? You think that all that's a coincidence, or you think it's all coming together like a puzzle? What do you guys think?
Should I call the rubber room people for me, or the people? I'm almost afraid to read the comments tomorrow.
What do you think, guys? Do you think this is the year, or what? You think this is the year?
do.
And you know what we didn't talk about was Zelensky and Trump, them trading the barbs back and forth today. I think that means something.
Well, and look at who he visited yesterday, of all things. Erdogan, Turkey. He's wanting to get buddies with him.
Right.
He's basically thinking the United States hasn't given him what he needs and is letting him down. I'm like, dude, if it weren't for the U.S. weapons, your country would have been destroyed by now.
And I think he's going to the UAE too. I think Zelensky's going to the UAE, or he's already been there recently.
I'm still watching Ukraine, because there's just something in my spirit that just indicates that could be the Gomer of Ezekiel 38 verse 6. And how screwed up of a mind screw would that be? If Ukraine ends up joining with the Islamic horde and with Russia and Tagarma and Rosh, and
Well, it is right above. It is north of Jerusalem. So I know we always think it's Russia, right? We always say it's Russia because it's the far north, right?
And if you take a line from Jerusalem and go straight north, you basically run almost through Moscow. Yeah. And they are the Scythians. Yeah.
Yeah. And Rome owned part of the Ukraine during the Roman Empire. The southern part of Ukraine, they had trading things there. So it is part of it. So that's always something to keep in mind,
So
they also own part of Saudi Arabia.
Poll says it's this year. The chat is they're all setting dates, so they all think it's this year.
I know everybody wants it to be tomorrow. They want us to say tomorrow. Right?
Yeah.
We all wanted it yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, telling me, man. I'll end the poll. Thank you guys.
I want it tomorrow. I want it tonight. I'm looking.
And we've been at this long enough too that we know that Jesus could come at any moment. That there's no question about that. And I truly believe, like you guys, that it's this year. And we always wonder, why haven't you come yet, Lord? But you know what? Aren't we glad that he waited for us to come to him in salvation first? You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. And like in the Discord, we've had people be saved, like recently. And that if he had come, they would be in the tribulation, those people. So thank God that he didn't come yet. For all those people that are still being saved. And for, like a lot of our family members who aren't saved yet, and we hope that they do get saved before the tribulation, or at least during it.
That's good stuff, man. Just keep your hands on the plow. Yeah. Keep looking straight,
I do think the two-state solution is a big deal.
It is.
I do think that they're hiding it. Like, they're
Yes.
putting it out there, but they're hiding it, because I do believe that the adversary's got to tell us what he's doing. And I do believe God tells us what he's doing. And I know there's a scripture that says that he'll tell the prophets, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So I do think that that's all happening for a reason. I think it's the two-state solution is definitely something we should be paying more attention to. I think the fact that MBS has all this soft power. We talked about soft power tonight. All this soft power, all of a sudden, he's the go-to guy. He's the go-to guy. He's the peacemaker.
Yeah.
That's not normal, everyone. That's not normal for a little country who is a kingdom and has horrible human rights records to be all of a sudden the peacemaker of all this stuff. Women weren't even allowed to drive there 20 years ago. So what happened, all of a sudden? And he's the peacemaker. And everything we're supposed to be looking for is happening there. And the UAE and the Saudis are working on this. I believe they have a plan. And so I do think the two-state solution is a big deal, and we need to keep our eyes on it.
And they've been calling Mohammed bin Salman the past couple of months the upcoming protector of Jerusalem. So again, whether he's the Antichrist or not, he could be the forerunner like John the Baptist was to Jesus. So
they could just be setting up for it.
I personally think the Antichrist is someone that no one's even looking at right now, because he's going to come out of the woodwork, and that's going to be part of his allure and his mystery. Like, where did this guy come from? That's just my personal.
Well, it could easily be that. I mean, it certainly could be that.
But
and
we could be
everything else
seeing
is just being set up for it.
Yeah.
Just like everything throughout history has been setting up for it. We just see it more right now. Because those labor pains are happening closer together and more intensely. And that's what's supposed to be happening,
And we noticed that this news and stuff comes at us really hard, really fast. And then just like a birth pain, then it subsides and it's calm.
But since January, that has not been the case. Like, there haven't been too many of those calm parts, right? I mean, can you think of a week, a whole week that's gone by that something hasn't been happening?
Yeah.
Like, unlike a year ago, where we would have a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
So they are definitely getting closer together. At least it seems like it.
That's another one I want to dive into, because we do read the passages of the Syrian from the north. But then on the flip side, we see in Daniel, 11:36 through 45 area, where there's, and even before that, but you've got the king of the north against the king of the south. So, I mean, my point being is, as we get closer to the end, more of these puzzle pieces are starting to make sense. And the things that we've thought all along about Bible prophecy may be starting to morph and change in front of our eyes, going, oh, like the light bulbs are going to start going off.
Yeah,
it's just exciting. Right. It's exciting.
Who would have thought 20 years ago that Iran, Russia, and Turkey would have something in common? And now they meet regularly about Syria and about other things, and Turkey and Russia are both in Libya. And now Russia has mutual kinds of agreements with Iran, and like who would have thought that? And I'll tell you who, the people reading the Bible, because that's what's supposed to happen at some point, and that's what it looks like is going to happen.
It's so cool, guys. It's so cool. The prophecy sealed to Daniel in Daniel 12 verse 4, Daniel 12 verse 9, they were sealed to him. And it says specifically, it's not for you to know, but for those of the end, they will know. And those prophecies sealed are now being revealed. It's so cool. It's so stinking cool.